Hello, I'm Masha Velez, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to use a Singer sewing machine. I'm not a professional and I don't know really how to make a lot of things, but I actually have one of these in my home. I bought one, I think it was like late October last year, and I really wanted to buy it to learn how to upcycle because I was tired of giving away my clothes to the Salvation Army or basically tossing it in the garbage if it really wasn't that good to give away anyway. So I got tired of that and decided if I learn how to upcycle my clothes, I can get something else out of it. But instead of upcycling the clothes, I end up making face masks because New York City didn't have any in the middle of COVID. The sewing machine is probably one of those household appliances that has basically gone extinct, and I have no idea why. Well, actually, I do know why. These things used to be considered extremely expensive and really hard to use, and I guess people got really out of touch with it. It was something you probably did only in home economics. But I think that the sewing machine is one of those household appliances that need to come back to people's homes because they're absolutely amazing. These machines are like the most undervalued household appliance. I mean, many of us have 2 or 3 types of blenders. Me included. I also have like 4 or 5 different coffee machines for different types of coffee, but that's not what we're talking about today. People think that they're expensive, and they're really not anymore. If you go on Amazon, you can probably find a machine for like $150, and if you go to Walmart, you can find it for even cheaper, and they're not cheap. They're actually, I mean, they're not like cheap quality. They're actually really good, and they get the job done. So without further ado, I want to show you how to use one of these machines and give you the confidence to buy your first sewing machine. Alright guys, here we go. This is a sewing machine. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to buy this machine, but it's actually a really good machine, and since I'm going to show you how to use it, you'd probably be more comfortable buying it. So if you want to learn how to sew, or if you've always been afraid because they're very expensive, this is the way to go because it's not very expensive and you can actually do a lot of things with it. You can even sew jean material, which I did, but that's like another video. Anyway, I'm going to just teach you how to get the whole machine started, but I wanted to show you this so that none of this feels overwhelming or intimidating. I don't want this machine to be intimidating. I want you to slay this, okay? You can do this. Anyway, let's just keep going. This thing right here is for making your bobbin, which I'm going to show you how to do. Let's just cut to the next scene. All right, guys, we're back. First thing you're going to need is some thread. The next thing you're going to need is a bobbin. The first thing you're going to do is take your thread and you're going to place it on this thread holder. And you're going to want the thread to be actually be coming from underneath the roll. So put that in the machine. And you need one of these little security caps. Kind of looks like this so that your thread doesn't go flying off of your machine, which has happened to me. Then you're going to basically start doing the steps that are on top of the machine. Now there's a lot of things on top of this machine and it's easy to get confused, but if we're dealing with this bobbin, you're going to go to step 1. So you go through the first step, number 1. And it's got like a little clip and you slip it underneath and then the thread is like stuck in this part. The second step is the tension, going from this side, from the right side, and then you go around this little screw or this tension loop and you go this way, okay? Now you've done step 1, you've done step 2, and now we have to do step 3, which is getting the thread into the bobbin. And the most important thing about getting the thread into the bobbin is that you have to go up through the middle of the bobbin into the circle or the hole that is right here. Now that's hard to see, but once you get your bobbin in your hand, you're going to understand what I mean. So you have to make sure that, again, you're going through the middle of the bobbin, up through the hole, and you get the thread right in there. Now once you have it in there, you're going to pull it through. And now we're ready to actually fill the bobbin. So you take the bobbin and you put it on top of this little clip right here, push it down. You're gonna take this rod and you're gonna push it towards the bumper. Now, the best part about sewing for me is actually like hitting the pedal. This is the pedal right here. It looks just like this thing right here. You normally step on it with your foot, but just because I'm doing this video, I wanna show you guys how to do it. So I'm going to hold this thread up in the air and then I'm going to start driving. At some point you can stop and cut off this extra thread that you have and try to cut it really close to the base so that that thread isn't actually sticking out of the bobbin, because later on when you put it into the bobbin case, which I haven't told you about yet, you don't want that thread getting in the way. So let's just keep driving until this bobbin gets full. Oh, I just wanted to mention one thing. Normally, when your bobbin gets full, it basically stops winding, but my machine doesn't do that. It just starts to make this funky noise and it looks like it's choking on its own thread. So at that point, I normally know to stop, but hey, your machine might have some quirks too. Doesn't mean it's broken, it's just quirky. But I'm not done yet. Let's just keep going. See? See what I mean? It just kind of starts choking, but it doesn't actually stop. Anyway, once you're done, you basically take that bobbin and you push it back. Now you cut it off. Okay, so now that we've made the bobbin, we have to basically install the bobbin into the bobbin case. As you can see, I already have a bobbin in there, but we're not going to work with that color. So we have to open the bobbin case by flicking this little button here. Take out the bobbin cover, take out the old bobbin, and sometimes I put it in my bobbin case, and sometimes I just put it in this little storage compartment that this Singer sewing machine has. Right there. So the next thing we're going to do is actually grab the little bobbin that we already made, this red bobbin, and we're going to install it in there. Now, the first thing you need to know is that this thread actually has to go in a specific direction. It has to go on the left-hand side because it's like P for perfect, okay? So thread on the left-hand side, P is for perfect, that's how you're going to remember, and then you put it inside the case. Now that it's inside the case, you're going to have to make it get caught on a little hook over here. I normally put my finger on top of the thread, and then with the other hand, I pull it, and usually it gets caught on the hook. And how do I know? It's because it gets a little bit tense, and that's how I know that the actual bobbin thread has been hooked onto the hook that's inside here. And after I do that, I put the thread a little bit far behind, and I put the cap right back on. Hooray! We've got the bobbin in the case. Now all we have to do is thread the top of the machine. To thread the evil eye of the needle, we start at the top of the machine again. With step 1, you grab the thread. It goes through this little hook. Then step 2, you go behind this hook. And then step 3 is going to go right down this line. But I'm going to show you that by moving the camera. After step 3, which is right here, going straight down this little line, then you go to step 4. And this cap looks a little bit crazy, but I actually never had this cap on my machine, because if you're a sewer, you're going to understand what I'm saying next. My machine is constantly making bird's nests when I have this cap on. It's not really necessary. You don't really need it, although there is a little thing that cuts your thread right here, so that was kind of fun to have when I had it, but I just keep scissors close and my machine doesn't make bird's nest anymore. But it doesn't matter, because that will still give you guys the opportunity to see what step 3 and 4 look like, and also step 5. So step 5 is getting the thread into this little hammer right here. So the hammer is not supposed to be down when you go to thread it, it's supposed to be up, and the only way that you get the hammer to go up is by turning the handle on the machine. So you have to turn this handle here until your hammer comes all the way up. Once it's up, you can go to the next step, which is step 5. So I basically go around, I go behind, and I go into the hammer. Now what you're going to see inside the hammer is that it has like a little eye on it. I pull the thread down until it's inside that circle. The next step is going to be step 5. Step 5 is right inside here. I put the thread in there. There's like a hook. And now it's time to get the thread into the evil eye of the needle. Let me grab this piece of thread that I have here now and get as close as I possibly can. And then I'm going to try to get it into the eye of the machine. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. I just started the eye of the needle. So after you thread the eye of the needle, you want to put it through the crack of this foot, not the crack of your butt, but the crack of this foot, and pull it out and push it towards the back. Don't lose me. You're almost ready to sew. There's only one more step and the rest is history. So now that you threaded the bobbin and you threaded the needle, now you have to get both of these threads to basically interlock with each other. And that just takes one more step. To do the last step, you're going to need to use this style. Now, remember, when you're using this style, always turn it to yourself. The next step is going to be very, very easy, but it's also going to be a little magical. So give me 1 second to change the camera again. once this bobbin thread and the needle thread interlock, that is the magic that makes your threads and your fabric stick together. So what I like to do normally when I do this is I like to pick up the foot because I think it's in the way in the first place, and then I go to my handle and I start turning it. Now you'll see that the needle is going to go down and it's going to go up. Now when it does that, it's going, I don't know if you just saw that, but it kind of pulled inside the bobbin case, and then it causes the bobbin thread to pop up. Oh, you saw that? How the bobbin thread kind of like jerked a little bit. What happened was that while I was turning the handle, I'm going to grab this scissor now and kind of sweep it underneath the foot of the sewing machine, because when I turned the handle and the needle on the other side and the needle went up and down, it interlocked with the bobbin thread and it pulled it out from underneath the machine. And then it caused this little knot that you see, and basically it grabbed the bobbin thread from inside of this case. It brought it up through the bottom of the machine, and now we can take the bobbin thread and the needle thread and push it to the back of the machine, and you can begin sewing. Alright guys, that is my tutorial for tonight. I am gonna go upstairs and take a shower because I think my organic deodorant is failing me today. Either that or it's just really hot, like hot as balls down here. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys how to use a sewing machine. Again, they're not as expensive as you think, they're not as hard as you think, and you can actually learn how to do so much stuff on the internet. Here's a bag that I sold from some old pair of jeans that I had, and I also had like some old curtains that I absolutely hated that I actually turned into a bag that I use every single day. I also sewed myself like this little face mask that I use all the time, and it's so much better than throwing them away. There's a little kiss from me to you. I use this all the time. Stay tuned, guys. I love you. I will see you another day. Ciao, bacalao. It's shower time. Bye.